Just recently, Sowore announced a planned protest for the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But you may ask, why is Sowore demanding the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why are some politicians, influencers, and governmental bodies supporting this protest? Because if you have been following the court case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you will notice there seems to be some level of partiality.
If you are a Nigerian, you can get away with a lot of things. But if you are Igbo, Nigerian, you can't get away with a lot of things.
Especially what happened recently, where a bandit leader in Katsina was given a peace deal, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been acquitted by the court, still remains in DSS detention. But the Tinubu administration and some Igbo politicians still criticize the planned protest, saying Sowore should allow the case to be resolved in court. But this case has lasted for more than 5 years. Omoyele Sowore is a popular activist and politician who has previously run for presidential office in 2019 and 2023, and has now announced a protest on the 20th of October 2025 at Oso Rock Villa, Abuja. Coincidentally, this aligns with the day Nigerians were shot at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos. If you can remember the End SARS protest. But to understand this planned protest, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. We have to go back to 2015.
If push comes to shove, will you go to war?
No, because truth is a far more potent and deadlier weapon than bullets and mortars.
So no war? You've ruled out the...
Absolutely, I don't want any war, no war.
This man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as we all know, is the leader of IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra. IPOB has been agitating for the restoration of a free, independent state of Biafra, which will be made up of the Igbo and other related ethnic groups in southeastern Nigeria. But why are they agitating to separate from Nigeria, you may ask? IPOB believes that the Igbos have been mistreated since the Civil War of 1967 to 1970. With the example of the heavy military presence in the southeastern region. So, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu decided to open a UK-registered radio station named Radio Biafra, to educate his people on the need to agitate for Biafra. But the Nigerian government arrested Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Lagos, claiming he was inciting violence through his broadcast. This caused a massive protest of men and women, especially from the southeast. He was later released on bail in 2017 after spending 19 months in prison. During the same period, the Nigerian army raided his home in Abia State. But he escaped, which led to the death of some of his supporters and his parents. Let me ask, why would the army raid his home while he was still on trial? Why didn't they allow the judicial system to do its job regarding his case? Because as we all believe, Nigeria is a democratic nation, and it is expected to act as one. So, he later continued his broadcast. But he was not in Nigeria during this time. This led the federal government to declare IPOB a terrorist group. But there's a problem here. How can a group that has never carried arms be labeled a terrorist group? How has agitating, which is allowed under the Nigerian constitution, become terrorism? To answer this, you have to understand that Nigerians don't obey their own laws. On the 27th of June 2021, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria for trial. But you may have noticed something. Throughout all this man hasn't broken any laws. Yet the Nigerian state has consistently broken not only its own laws but also international law. Since then, it has been adjournment upon adjournment. He has been charged with so many offenses that the federal government has yet to prove to this day. Even though the Abia State High Court ruled in his favor, saying he should be released and compensated with a sum of 1 billion Nigerian nairas for violating his fundamental human rights. But why, after all this, are Nigerian security agents still holding him? How is it that the same security agents are signing peace deals with bandits, while holding an innocent man? Because according to the law, he is assumed innocent until proven guilty. Now, I believe you can see the reason why Sowore is planning the protest. And I think it was the recent peace deal with the bandits that triggered it. Thank God that some influential men have promised to participate in the protest. Men like Atiku Abubakar, who was once Vice President of Nigeria, and Goodluck Jonathan, who was also a former president. Other people supporting include Obi Agwocha, Femi Falana, and Shehu Sani. Even Very Dark Man, an influencer, also supports the protest. But there is a problem. Where are the other Southeastern politicians who were once demanding the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why are they all silent all of a sudden? Does this show that they were not genuinely interested in his release? Well, I think time will tell, since the planned protest will be on the 20th. In life, for things to be balanced, there will always be two sides. The presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, condemned the planned protest, saying Sowore is an anarchist masquerading as a rights activist. But this is not the worst part. Even an Igbo elite, Joe Igbokwe, is also against the planned protest, advising Sowore to stay away. But this sparks questions. Is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention because of crimes without proof? Or is it all about politics? Well, I think it's more about politics. Thank you all for watching. Please, I'd like you to like and subscribe. You can comment down below your thoughts, whether good or bad. Like I said before, in life, there will always be two sides.